delighted to introduce Stefan Furlan, who is the CEO of Optilab. Thank you for joining us, Stefan. One of the big buzzwords of the IT industry and the cloud industry at the moment is big data. And of course, what is amusing about big data is that it's not new. People have been doing it for ages. And certainly one of the areas where the analysis of large quantities of data to detect and predict trends is the fraud prevention sector. And so I was delighted when I saw that Optilab were among the nominees for the Eurocloud Awards and were coming to Congress, because it gave us an opportunity to have an insight into the management of large amounts of data and delivering services to customers from the point of view of an established European cloud provider. And that's the basis on which I'm delighted to introduce Stefan and look forward to an interesting story. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Pleasure is mine. Maybe just before I start, some explanation about the big data. There might be some misunderstanding here, because we're not big data yet. We're going towards this direction. We're building a big cloud network between insurance companies that would enable insurance companies to detect complex international insurance fraud. For now, we started this in Slovenia, and I'm here to tell you our story, our experience in this particular area. So basically what I would like to tell you today is something about our company, something about fraud, which is the problem that we are dealing with, about fraud management, about our product, and of course to give you a showcase of what we consider as an interesting or good practice or a case from Slovenia, where we basically joined all the insurance companies and convinced the, let's say, very mature and very old-fashioned companies to basically share their data with us and put them into our trust and share them with each other. So basically, Optilab is a fairly young company. We are a university spin-off, as the core team of the company met at the University of Ljubljana in one of the laboratories where we worked as a research group, and we did a lot of different researchers in terms of analyzing data, analyzing different types of information, trying to find some anomalies in data. And we were quickly approached by some industry insurance companies, some health insurance companies, telcos, that asked us, would these methods that you are developing, could these methods be applied to detect fraud? So basically did a lot of, well, not a lot, but we did a few proof of concept, few analysis, and discovered this might be an interesting niche for us. So in 2008, we incorporated the company Optilab with a small angel investment, and we start commercializing the product, which we named Admiral. And since 2008, this product's also in production use in one of the insurance companies. So in 2008, since 2008, we have our first clients. Basically today, a lot of insurance companies trust us to help them manage fraud. Combined, they have a bit less than 2 billion euros of premiums, these insurance companies that we work with, and we help them manage fraud, which is a big problem, as you will see later. And also, as a young, innovative startup, we've received several awards, both on Slovene level, but also on the European level, which is, because Slovenia is not so big, it's much more important. And of course, one of them being also best cloud service in Slovenia. So what I would like to just give you a brief, let's say, intro of what is the insurance fraud, how big is this problem. Basically, motor insurers lose about 10% of claims expenditure to fraud. In Europe, we're talking about 17 billion euros annually. So it's a very big problem, which is, if we are in Luxembourg, about 40% of GDP of Luxembourg, if we are comparing how big is the scale of the problem. And basically what we are doing is helping insurance companies manage this particular problem. Basically the process of fraud management starts with collecting data from different data sources. First important data sources are of course insurance companies themselves. They have a lot of information about claims, about policies, and so on. And we combine this data with information that is publicly available online, let's say on Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on, to give them some better understanding who are the people who are involved with particular claims, and whether there's a potential fraud or there's some interesting or suspicious connections between people. Then, of course, we help them to prioritize these claims and to investigate, to basically come to a conclusion whether there's really a fraud or not. And also, we guide them through the process of mitigating, and basically our software or our service ends when they recover the money that they've lost, or if they didn't pay for the claim, when they withhold the payment. And parallel to this main process, which needs to be streamlined in each insurance company, there are of course monitoring, retrospective and proactive analysis, and of course this also results in fraud prevention and fraud deterrence. Basically, fraud detection is when we are trying to stop the fraud which has already, or recover from fraud which has already happened, and fraud prevention basically is preventing fraud from even happening. And our product or our service is basically, there are two parts of our service. One is cloud-based and one is local. As I said, the insurance companies are very old-fashioned and very conservative in terms of technology. And still, in a lot of cases, these insurance companies still want to have these servers at their own premises, so they have all the control that they need, and if needed, they can pull out the plug and stop whatever is going on. But more and more of them are now getting ready to cloud, and we are basically moving them to this direction. So basically, this is a two-way, two kinds of solution. One is on cloud, and the other is deployed locally, but is then connected to cloud. Because our goal, of course, is to help insurance companies, or to enable insurance companies to collaborate with each other and to detect complex organized fraud. Now, I would like to show you an industry case, which has also been rewarded as Best Cloud Service, which has also been awarded Best Cloud Service Award 2012 in Slovenia. And basically, this industry case includes, it's a private cloud, which we set up in Slovenia. 7 insurance companies are collaborating or using this cloud. It might not sound much, 7 insurance companies, but these are all the insurance companies that we have in Slovenia. Slovenia is not so big, as I said earlier. And of course, there was a lot of, in this particular project, there was a lot of trust issues. Who do we trust? Where should this cloud be? And we found basically a nice solution. And basically this cloud, or this physical infrastructure of a cloud, is hosted by Slovene Insurance Association. It's Slovene Insurance Association is like all other insurance associations. In each country there is an insurance association, which is basically a special interest group. It's a non-government organization which has been formed by insurance companies or set up by insurance companies to represent their interest. So basically a lot of projects that have that are of common interest of all insurance companies are undertaken by an insurance association. And also this is where the cloud is basically physically where cloud is physically positioned. We had a lot of issues with personal data protection laws, as I think this issue has been raised several times in these 2 days. Of course, what we are doing in this cloud, we are combining personal information. So we are checking whether this person has already made a claim in another insurance companies, which is very, I don't know, it was in conflict with our personal data protection laws. So we had a bit of a discussion with our ombudsman, and although she's really strict, as I imagine all ombudsmans are in European countries, we were able to find a solution which would work, because she also was open enough to see that basically in this particular case, this law is protecting criminals, is protecting people who are defrauding insurance companies and who are basically committing crime. So she was very open. So basically, goal of this cloud was to enable it to detect complex organized fraud, and we're happy to say this has been now up for almost 2 years, and in only 3 months the insurance companies got back the investment that was put into this cloud. So we got a really nice return on investment. So as I said, this is now operational for 2 years. There's great user experience. A lot of basically all these insurance companies, some less, some more, are using this on a really frequent daily basis. They're checking the claims that they get. And we are, of course, now addressing neighboring markets. We're still a young company, so we're now trying to penetrate and internationalize. And we're now penetrating neighboring markets such as Hungary, Serbia, Croatia, Macedonia also, and of course we're also facing north towards Austria. And our goal, of course, is to set up European cloud, Europe-wide cloud, which would enable insurance companies to collaborate and to prevent really complex, organized international insurance fraud. And this is my story. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much, Stefan. That's very clear and interesting example of the use of cloud in a very specific vertical market where they've got very important needs around data protection, of course, which we'll go on to talk about in the next session. But do we have any questions, 1 or 2 questions, specifically about the implementation or any other issues that you would like to bring up?